Hey guys, welcome. It's Marcy, the Cranky Crafter. Today we're going to be participating in the WS Art Club that's hosted by Ashley over at Paper and Twine. If you remember, we did this one last month. The prompt was stripes, and I just did this really simple one. Since then, I did go on to Woolly Steph's channel. So even though she's not hosting it, she still has her channel available, and I looked through the playlist and found out how to make this little handy dandy journal to keep all of my little 4x4 pieces in. So that's super fun. If you guys are interested in seeing how to do that, I can either link it for you, link her channel for you, or I can attempt to make another one. We'll see how that goes. But at any rate, after I get the 4x4 done, I just basically glue it in here, whatever it is. For mine particularly, I didn't have any elastic, and so these are hair bands because I didn't have any elastic available. And it actually worked out lovely because I hate tying off these kinds of journals. To me, that's just fiddly, so that worked out lovely for me. But the prompt for this month is forest, and so we're going to do this actually in watercolor. I have a 4x4 sheet here, and I'm actually using my Canson watercolor paper. This one is 140 pounds. I'm just using this thicker one because, you know, usually I make everything on 90 pounds. I usually use that because it's thinner and it's easier to cut out fodder. So for this, since I'm not cutting it out, I'm just gonna use this one since it's a little bit heavier. And that's what this gives us, the 140 pound versus the 90 pound. It gives you a more sturdy, it can hold more water without getting distorted, that kind of thing. So we're doing forest, and I have a couple that I have done, and I can show you. This is kind of what we're going for. This one was like in fall colors, and then this one is, you know, like greens and blues, I guess, kind of turquoises. This is what we're going to do again today because I have some of those colors already ready. This bit is much smaller than the ones I did, so that could be interesting to see how it works out. I'm just gonna have to, like, spatially wise, which I'm terrible at, figure out how to do that. So I have my 8 round, which is my workhorse, but the first step is that we're gonna do a light wash of color over the whole thing. And for that, I like to use a mop brush because it just holds a ton of liquid. And so for the wash, I just want it super, super, super light, like super duper light. And I'm probably gonna have to dry a lot during this because you want most of your stages to be dry before you come in to do another stage. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of melding of colors that maybe we don't want. So just a super light wash all over of whatever color you're using. You know, you could do whatever gradient colors you want. If you wanted to do, you know, purple or green, whatever you want, start with a super light wash of color over the whole thing. That's going to kind of give us our background, and it's going to kind of give us the little bit of sky, or what will appear to be sky. And as you can see, this is already almost drying. Okay, so we're done with the mop brush. I'm going to dry this fully, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you can tell it's just super light. Like, this is white and this is blue. Just a very, very, very light blue. And that's great. That's what we want. So for the next bit, I'm going to switch over to my 8. You could even probably go lower if you wanted to like a 6. I just enjoy my 8. So the goal is you basically start out lighter and then you get darker as you go, because it kind of is, I mean, it's supposed to represent, I think, a perspective of like bigger trees in the back, right? So they're further away, so it's lighter, and then you're getting closer, and of course then these trees you're like right on top of, so they're darker. At least that's what my brain says. That's what my brain says it is. So the first ones are still going to be pretty light. So I'm just kind of dipping into my palette over here. And the trees are really simple. So you're basically just going to make a straight line, and it can be kind of broken. Mine usually are. And then you're going to kind of just stipple the branches on. And by stipple, I mean kind of just make like almost elongated dots. You'll see what I mean when I do it. And you'll see how, well, hopefully you'll see how simple it can be. And I'm kind of going to try to do a V. That's my hope anyway, because then it'll kind of look like it's on a hillside. That sounds really good in my head, but we'll see if it actually works out on the paper. This paper's a little bit distorted. Okay, are we in frame? Yes, we are. So you're just going to kind of start out with your tree trunk, and then you're literally just going to kind of make dots that combine together to make branches. This does not have to be, you know, perfect at any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think that the looser it is, the more organic it feels. But, you know, that's kind of my take on watercolor. So, and so then we're going to come down a little bit. This is the bit that usually gets me because I'm having so much fun doing it that I just do them all in a straight line instead of kind of coming down in a V shape. Because they're very fun to make and very therapeutic. Because you're really not focused on anything, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like the more you do it, the faster you go, the more they come out looking like trees. If you think too much about it and you're like, oh, that doesn't really look like a tree. Well, no, it doesn't, but that's okay. Because it's art. And we can do it however we want. If anybody tells you otherwise, you tell them I said so. And you know, if you had a bigger sheet of paper, do them bigger, man. Like if you want to do something like this and frame it, you know, make some big old trees. Okay, that's the first row. Now I'm going to dry that, so hang on. Okay, so the next bit, I kind of want to use that same color, and I barely have any left. Barely any left. And I'm just going to kind of fill in. like that. You basically just were smushing paint around, and I need to dry again. Okay, so this isn't completely dry, and that's okay, because we're gonna come in with a darker color now. Rather, it's almost the same color, just more concentrated paint. And we're basically gonna do the same exact thing, except the trees are gonna be a little bit darker and also probably a little bit shorter, because as you get closer to the bottom, they're gonna be almost smaller, if that makes sense. So, okay. So basically just back again, making trees. Oh boy, I just dipped into the wrong color. It's fine. It's fine. And you just keep going like that. I should have come down a little bit further on that one, because this is getting closer to the V spot. But like I said before, I always forget to do that. And you can make, you know, a little shorter guy. Come up here a little bit. I feel like this could turn out, each one is going to be so different. I don't think I could replicate this if I tried. Maybe if I was a professional artist, but Marcy is not a professional artist. So, but to me, I think that's part of like what's cool about it, is because each one is unique. And then again, I'm going to come in here like this and just add some color to the bottom. I think I'm only going to get one more layer. That's what I think. I need to dry a sec. Okay, so the last one is going to be the darker one. More, I'm going with something that's a little bit more turquoisey. And then we're going to do essentially the same. Trying to keep my hands out of the way so that you can see. You want some shorter guys. At least I think it's nice to have some shorter guys so that they're not all the same height. These trees are they're a little wonky. I think this is the smallest size that I've done. Smallest size paper. So I'm learning right along with you. I wish I lived near, I live near a forest, but not as close as I would like. As you know, we are mostly desert. This side of the mountains is mostly desert. Okay, and then I'm going to take some of this darker paint. I'm going to grab some more from my palette to make the color pretty concentrated. And I'm going to come in and put, just like we did before, except this time it's like the bottom. And then sometimes I'll get right into my palette and get like concentrated color to make it even darker. And there we have it. That needs to be dried. So I'll dry it and then come back. Okay, I dried and then I gave it a little bit of a stitched border. You guys, I totally do not know how to do straight lines. Oh boy. All right. So let's put it in this little thing. I'm going to use art glitter glue on the back because this is pretty heavy. Maybe I am. If it'll let me. So that was super fast, huh? I think the most time is the drying. You have to dry in between your layers. Otherwise, all the colors will blend together, which isn't terrible. I could take this out of here. Do you think I'm going to do that? Nope. But I think I'm going to have to hold it down. Otherwise, it's going to just pop right back up. And I think I'm going to leave that little string on there. Maybe cut it a little bit, but I think I want a little bit more glue in there. Might have to put this under something heavy. Might have to. But you get the idea. So that's our forest. Isn't that fun? All right, I'll link all the information below and you can check out Ashley's channel. And you can do a forest. And I'll see you next time.